And welcome, folks, to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And folks, we got a great show today. We're going to talk about James Comey, who has been indicted by the Department of Justice. And we're going to follow up on Barack Obama and his involvement in this. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know. You're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, Pastor David. Thank you. And welcome, folks. Thank you. Welcome, folks, to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And first, let me give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior, Yahuwah. That's the correct name for Jesus. And I want to welcome everybody to the show. Well, folks, the darkness, what's done in the dark, is coming to the light. And so the Department of Justice has already filed charges against James Comey, who was involved with Russiagate and Barack Obama. To the American people and patriots across this country, finally, all the dirt that the Democrats have done when Trump got elected is coming to fruition. All of the stuff that they did, the lies they told, money they stole, all the stuff is coming out. And so today, that's what we're going to talk about. So let me get my panel in so we can get started early and we can start talking about this issue. How you doing, Randy?
Hey, good day to you all, Pastor.
Lucretia,
it's Friday.
how you doing?
It's Friday. You know how it is.
Hey, Pastor. How y'all doing? Hey, Randy.
Hey, Lucretia.
And we got Mr. Binky in the house. What's up, Bink?
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, Binky.
Howdy.
You know, guys, I got to say this to our listeners and viewers. The enemy does not want these shows to be seen. I had to spend at least 15 or 20 minutes trying to get the system right so it sounds like it's two streams coming in. But that's okay. We're going to get to the bottom of this thing, and we're going to make sure the American people and patriots across this country understand what's going on. Now, let me say this. When Barack Obama lost the race to President Trump, he was taken back because they couldn't cheat, and they literally got beat. But what they did was started to try to sabotage his presidency. And they came out with the Russiagate thing saying that Trump was working with Russia and they was coming against Hillary Clinton. But to the American people and patriots across this country, that was a damn lie. And they knew it. They orchestrated it all. They tricked the American people. They lied, thinking Trump had collusion with the Russians. And so we now know that that was all not true. It seems like the Democrats have been living in a house of cards, and now they're falling. Your thoughts, Lucretia?
Who, mine? I'm like Trump. Okay, he tried to be politically correct this morning with Peter Doocy. When Peter Doocy asked him, is this revenge? Is it doing the right thing? You know, Trump said, no, it's doing the right thing, and it's not revenge. To me, they did it to themselves. James Comey did it to himself when he got in bed with Barack Obama, and he was director of the FBI. Now, FBI is supposed to be our, Interpol. It's supposed to be the CIA inside of America. If we can't trust the top of the top then who are we really going to trust at all? So these people brought it on themselves. They tried to take down a sitting president. They tried to take down the right. So only thing I'm disappointed in is why Fox News wasn't outside his house in the middle of the night as they raided him like they did Roger Stone.
Your thoughts, Binky?
Well, as Lucretia said, Peter asked if this was revenge or what. This is how law is supposed to work. You're supposed to have credible evidence, not made up stuff. And when you abuse that, and I think we see too much of this, we see too much of government abusing powers instead of using powers the way they're supposed to be. And now that something's being done properly, who's going to accept it? Because we have been deceived for so long, we don't know right from wrong. So that's my take on it.
Randy?
Well, technically, we do know right from wrong. The power brokers that be don't know right from wrong. We would get locked up, Binky. Binky, they would have raided your house in about a week. Probable cause that would have been busting down your door. So
that's my point. That's my whole point. Is they're abusing their power. They're in power, and they're abusing how government's supposed to be restricted. We got a constitution that tells us that we got a right to our privacy. We can't be. We got to have warrants. There's got to be probable cause. We've got a right to speech, to religion, to be secure in our person's property and effects. And government and courts. I'm going to throw the courts in here too. The courts keep usurping this stuff. They come up with excuses. And we, as a free people, we're not free because we've got all kinds of excuses. Look at all these warrantless raids and stuff like that, all in the name of fighting drugs and the war on terror and all. They're spying on us. They've got cameras everywhere. Government is supposed to be restricted by a constitution for a reason, and they are not. And we're falling for this stuff. We're thinking because they're doing something for our safety, it's all okay. And it's like a row of dominoes. They take this away, they take that away. For example, 9/11. What happened after 9/11?
Yes.
The Patriot Act. Now, when you go to a bank and you deposit a large sum of money, they've got to notify government when you withdraw a large sum of money. When you go to an airport now, TCA pats you down and searches your baggage. But when it comes to government, it's a different story. And all this stuff that Comey and Biden's and Clinton and all these guys have been proven to committed crimes. They get excuses made for them. All of a sudden, the statute of limitations comes up, and nothing happens to them. But by George, if we're on the internet and we say something derogatory about government, we are claimed as domestic terrorists now. I don't get that part.
Randy?
I concur with both Steve and Lucretia. I would just say this: it's mighty funny that we all knew. I can say we all, a majority of the American people knew that James Comey was corrupt from day one. When his name first popped up on the radar, people started they look up who he is and everything else. They knew he was corrupt. We already knew Barack Obama was corrupt from his first term, and so. You had all of this, cataclysm going on, and then all of a sudden it's, the Russia hoax was fake. Oh, this was fake. Oh, he lied to Congress. Oh, he did this, he did that. We all knew these things already. The problem is we got two parties that are the same bird, so they're going to cover for each other. They're going to lie. They're going to pontificate. They're going to do all these things to make it look like they're doing something when they don't have the intentions of doing anything. And to Steve's point about the surveillance state that we're in, you're absolutely right. I totally 100% agree. The problem with our government right now is they propagandize to us that they're doing everything for our well-being, for our safety. Benjamin Franklin said it best: for those that want to give up their liberties for the security of freedom, of safety and security, you deserve neither, because this is where we at now. We are deserving neither security nor safety because we are willing to give up our liberties and put that into the hands of the government. And although we have the right to bear arms, we have the right to free speech. I tell people all the time, you wouldn't have the amendments, you wouldn't have the amendments if it wasn't for the Second Amendment, because we see the state of our government right now. Yeah, it's a Democrat government that was against us doing the lawfare and everything else, but now the Trump administration is back and saying, you know what, we better fix this. We gotta be careful with that, though. Although he's right, although he's in the right to go after them, and I wouldn't even say it was doing justice. I would say it is revenge. It should be revenge, but we also gotta be careful with that, because when he comes out, when the Trump administration goes out of power, we're going to get Democrats again. They're going to do the same thing all over again and make it worse. So we got to be careful with the tit for tat. Either we're going to take this structure down as the American people, or we're just going to see this perpetuate, throughout the rest of history.
Yep.
But how do you close Pandora box once it was open? Because it wasn't the Republicans that opened it just to go after one man. They destroyed the nation, just like the nuclear option when it comes into the Senate. Did they ever think, Democrats, when you start enacting this stuff, that one day, because we know y'all are worse, it's going to come back and bite you? So now that it's came back and bite them, and they can never close that Pandora box again, due justice is needed.
Can I get the reaction to this?
Go ahead.
We got the Democrats over here that historically can be proven to want to destroy this country. And they create division, they create hatred, but then the Republicans come back and say, okay, we got to come up with a law to stop this. So as to what Randy was saying, it's, we got two wings on the same bird here. We've got one party that's creating problems. We've got another party that says they can come in and fix it. And in all, when you stop to think about it, we the people are losing out of this deal. They're creating a problem, and they're creating a law. Well, we need more surveillance. We need more laws. We need more government. We need. And before you know it, we're the ones that are being attacked. All our freedoms and securities and being able to do stuff's being taken away or restricted, I should say.
So what do you think is what do you think is some of the solutions, going back to the original statement, black and white, going back to the Smith-Munson Act? Do we go backwards, and how are they going to relinquish that power?
Randy?
Here's the solution. We hold these things to be true and self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it. There's your answer.
And create.
Okay.
And the government.
They told us we can fix this and reinstate. Brings back our happiness and our safety and our security.
Exactly. We have to get back to the foundational documents of what made us in the first place. And when, like Thomas Jefferson wrote, when things get crazy, either abolish it or alter it and get it back on course. This is where we're at right now. So
I'm gonna be facetious. I'm gonna take you back to 2018, Cory Booker. Repeal and replace, repeal and replace, repeal and replace. It's a breathing document. It's a living, breathing. We need to get rid of it. We need to alter it. We need to get rid of that Second Amendment and 3 of the First. I'm sitting here like, are they saying this out loud? Just by them going up there and saying and taking that oath of office, they should have been sat down. That's Ilhan Omar. How in the world are you a foreign adversary at this point, and you was blessed to be granted a position over here in America? How are you up there talking smack about America, giving your allegiance to Somalia, and somehow the Democrats think it's okay? And then look at the mayoral race in New York. You literally they're gonna elect that. This is what the Democrats want for America.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what, guys, and just listening to all the information that we're giving out to the American people and patriots across this country, now that we can see, and a lot of people thought, well, we got Barack Obama. He seems to be a great president. The presentation that the Obamas gave to this country was marriage between a man and a woman, nice, wholesome family, couple of kids, and that was all a lie. Because right now, the American people are saying that Barack Obama probably was one of the most deceiving presidents of all time. And this whole Russiagate thing, that he was in charge of it all. He put this whole thing together because he got his butt kicked at the polls. And then he started all the lying. They started misdirecting things to the American people and patriots across this country. Now we can see who the real enemy is. But I would say that the Republican Party slept on a lot of stuff because they call themselves trying to follow the rules. The Democrats got in power. They broke every rule that they could to get in control of this country, to take rights away from the American people. And I think this is high time that President Trump got back in the office. And let me say this. I don't care what you call it. You can call it revenge. You can call it whatever that you want to call it. But what the president is doing is he's following the law. And the law says when you break the law, you're going to be subject to being accountable. And yes, this is good for him because now he get to pull the cover back off on the Democratic Party. And all those people who've been saying, oh, well, you know, Trump this, Trump that. This proves to the American people that Barack Obama was corrupt, Hillary Clinton was corrupt, Comer was corrupt, the FBI was weaponized. All the things are happening right now, but Trump is trying to fix the problem, and the American people should be up in arms against the Democratic Party because under their leadership, we saw our country start to deteriorate quickly. And now that Trump is back in office, he's making a lot of corrections. Basically, he's just following the law of the Constitution, and the Democrats are continuing to attack him and say he's doing something wrong. Oh, this is for revenge. But guess what? You broke the law, and now you can't take the heat. So get out the kitchen.
You're absolutely right. That is, they're saying that, they're saying that he's out for revenge and everything else. I would say rightfully so. I stand by that. But outside of that, it's revenge for breaking the law. You broke the law, so we're going to. That's what revenge is. It's retribution.
You got they touched his drawers. They touched that man's like now. That is revenge. I'm just saying.
You're crossing the line exactly. And so, but that's what we're seeing right now. Is it is revenge. You broke the law, so this is revenge for you breaking the law. And that's how Republicans have to frame it. And so. It is what it is. I don't even care what talking points the Democrats try to use. They're going to say, this is a Gestapo, we're Nazis, we're fascists. Somebody called me fascist the other day on Facebook. I said, thanks for the compliment. But anyways, here's the point. I embrace these terms because they don't even know what it is that they're saying. They call you Uncle Tom. I'm like, thank you. He was a great guy.
He was a great guy.
I appreciate the compliment because your ass is so ignorant you don't even know what the hell you're saying right now. So I appreciate it. And so this is how we got to treat these people. We treat them, we meet them, we beat them, and treat them where they stand. If they want to come crazy, be crazy right back at them.
Because let's take a look at the country. Okay, under the first Trump administration, even though he was faced and fighting adversity, the country did well. Gas prices down, food prices. I mean, people were able to purchase a home. I mean, all the things that he did on this first term under all the turmoil, because they was attacking him daily. They was coming up with all fictitious type things. They kept looking and searching for things to be done, and they never could find it. So this is why they start fabricating things. When Barack Obama was beat out of office, they spent 2 years or better trying to impeach him, using the Russiagate thing. It was just totally ridiculous. And now the American people and patriots across this country actually see who the real enemy is. It is the Democratic Party who hates our freedoms. They're showing it every day when they open the borders. They took Trump to court to open the borders when he had everything closed. So these type of things are what we need to look at as Americans about our leadership. And the leadership that the Democratic Party has portrayed has been against the American people. And now it is time for us to get back in line with our Constitution. That's what President Trump is doing. And we must continue to support him on that. Folks, I'm going to play a clip that we got regarding the charges against James Comey. Check this out.
Yeah, he's charged with 2 counts, false statements within the jurisdiction of the legislative branch, that's testimony before Congress, and obstruction of a congressional proceeding. The indictment states, and it's only 2 pages long, that Comey willfully and knowingly, that's the intent standard, made a materially false, fictitious, and fraudulent statement in a matter within the jurisdiction of the legislative branch of the government of the United States by falsely stating to a U.S. senator during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing that he had not authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports. That was regarding an FBI investigation. Congresswoman, this is big news. Many of us expected it. I think it's long overdue. But nevertheless, a lot of your colleagues tonight are saying, see, now Trump's weaponizing the Justice Department. You're doing what you accused others of. Your response?
Laura, we've had the opportunity for so long to hold these people accountable, and Congress could have held him accountable, and they chose not to. So I'm glad that the Department of Justice has the backbone to actually bring a 5-year charge, potentially if he's charged with the 18 U.S. Code 1621. I think that that's a statute for perjury. What he did was wrong, and I would argue that what he did is largely also responsible for breaking ties that we have with foreign governments. So this guy's a crook. He's a criminal. He belongs in prison. I will firmly back the administration, and it's time that Congress stop talking about it and actually do it. We're in the majority. We need to act like it and back up the president.
Well, Charlie, over the years, Comey has had some very high-powered attorneys. Former U.S. Attorney Patrick Fitzgerald was on his team. I remember he went after Martha Stewart, Conrad Black. I mean, I have no use for him whatsoever. But nevertheless, he's had some big names backing him. The entire liberal legal establishment will be making the case for why Jim Comey is the standard bearer of the law. Charlie, how do you see this tonight?
The last vestiges of the swamp are going to rally around Jim Comey and make this the biggest fight. You think that the swamp cares about voters or Democrats or anything? No, this is who they're going to rally around. And it is true that Donald Trump is the poster child of a weaponized judicial system, but he's the victim of weaponized judicial system. He is the poster child as a victim of this. And there is no person in all of government who is more singularly responsible for that weaponization against Donald Trump than that man right there, Jim Comey. All of the allegations about Donald Trump and Russiagate and all this kind of stuff, it was all political hackery until that man decided to take it and accept it as gospel and launch an investigation into a major party candidate at the height of a presidential election. And then he kept it going for years. And he should have known that it was all a hoax. And he kept doing it. And, we'll see. He's a very smart lawyer. Maybe he covered his tracks. Maybe he'll be able to get out of this. But I would like to see a jury of my peers decide whether or not he's guilty or not. I suspect I know how I would vote if I was on that jury, but they wouldn't let me on that jury.
Guys, let's talk about that. Your thoughts. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just play, go to trial. You know what? Play his own words back at him. Booyah. That's all you need is right there. This is simultaneous attack. This is how I was cunning and retribution, revenge-wise, petty. I would do a simultaneous attack on all my enemies that you know for a fact is getting ready to be indicted. That means Sullivan, that would mean James, that would be Leticia, that would be Lisa Cook. I would get them all. Bam, 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 bam. So when the deep state try to rally around them, they're going to waste resources because they can't protect them all. And then as that's happening, you got the Clintons, you got everybody else that's been testifying in front of Jim Comer and the rest of them. They finna get attacked too. So at this point, the deep state is going down. So while they're trying to cover their patukas, now you're getting ready to have the government shut down. And when the government shut down, they all gonna get laid off anyway. So they ain't gonna have the fundings because USAID don't exist anymore.
Randy?
So to that point, you're absolutely correct. And with the government shutdown, guess what happens? There is this little known title in the U.S. code, the U.S. code, that during the government shutdown, the bureaucracy can be fired. They won't go through a furlough. They can be fired. So, and that is the intent of allowing the government shutdown to happen. It's like, okay, Democrats, you want to play stupid? This is our retribution for you playing stupid. You want to give Medicaid for all, for illegal immigrants. You want all this money for these stupid projects. Go ahead and shut the government down. When you come back to work, your ass ain't gonna have any employees. How about that? So that's where we head with that. So I welcome it, and I'm all for a government shutdown.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, when they do finally get their act together, they're gonna see a very, very much smaller bureaucracy, in turn a much smaller government, because the intent for President Trump is to fire all of those excess employees and start over. So there we go.
Mr. Binky, your thoughts?
Well, as far as the charges going against Comey, I think they're pretty weak. I would like to see charges like treason and conspiracy. That means something.
Hold on, wait a minute, Mr. Binky. They had until Tuesday before the 5-year statute of limitations come up. If you go ahead and hit him with charges now, you can always upgrade them later.
Well, I hope they do that. But, I mean, what Laura Ingraham was talking about, that's like petty theft. What they're charging them with is petty theft.
Yeah.
And as Randy was talking about is, if Democrats want to shut down government and Trump can fire people to make government smaller, I wish somebody would talk to Trump and tell him to read Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution and start going through the agencies that grow government.
Yes.
And all he's got to do is go through there, and all these agencies that they created and expanded government with, all he's got to do is shut them down.
That's it.
That's all.
That's the intent. That's the intent. That is the intent. So that'd be great.
I hope so.
But you know what? Look at how the liberal media, the dang Democrat media, CNN and all the rest of them, they're playing with the American people mind, saying that if the government shuts down, all of these things are going to happen. You're going to lose your Social Security. You're going to lose your Medicaid. You're going to lose all your benefits. That's the fear that the Democrats keep stroking to us. And now that we see the cover is completely off. Barack Obama was created this whole thing. He's a sham. He's a liar. He's a thief. He's a deceiver. And all of those things are being shown right now, especially to Black citizens who held him in such high esteem. And now we know that he's no more than a petty homosexual thief. That's all. They tricked this country. They made it as if they were the perfect couple of the world. They had people running around here holding him up on a pedestal. You couldn't say nothing about Obama. He's supposed to have done everything right. And basically, when you look behind the scenes, he had more Black men killed when he created the blue alert law for the police officers, the wars he did, people that he killed, Gaddafi, Osama bin Laden, all of these things that he did. And these people, this is my thought, guys, and I'm going to ask you a question. How is it that in America, if you say something about one of these funky politicians, you could end up in jail? How is it that this country can go and kill another country's leader and justify it as if that was the right thing to do? Your thoughts, Lucretia?
I ain't got no thoughts on that other than they just evil as hell. Their whole internal signal is to destroy us from within with apathy, empathy. It's so horrible what Barack Obama did. He fundamentally changed us. So when it comes to that and killing off our enemies, you know what? It was all planned to begin with. To crush us from the within, it was all planned to begin with. So when I walked away 1 week after he got, inaugurated, I didn't care what nobody said at that point. When it comes to the black community, honey, they've been patting us on the head for so damn long and been using us for so damn long. Since I've been kicked out the culture, I guess I'm no longer allowed to talk about it because, I'm like a Betty right now. So I'm going to be this. You talk about people being fearful. The only people fearful is the ignorant ones. We don't talk to the ignorant ones. We are unequally yoked with them. Now, the ones that are lukewarm, those are the ones that's going to listen to us. The rest of them, you can't make them unplug their television if you had to. You couldn't tell them that Jesus cracked that sky. They wouldn't believe you. So at this point, I don't even worry about this section of society anymore because those are the same one of ratchetness. Those are the same ones that get out there and have a whole bunch of YNs running around and white ones too. So I'm not a part of that culture of society. I just want to build the ones that want to be built.
Well, you know what? That is so correct. And I'm going to play a little bit more of this Fox clip, and then we're going to shift our gears and we're going to go to a whole nother situation. And folks, bear with us because they don't want this show to be aired across the world today.
Hey, David,
yes, sir.
I got to give Obama credit for one truth that he mentioned. Mm-hmm. In 2005, before he was running for president, a newscaster asked him, he says, well, we're understanding that you're going to be running for president. And he goes, no, I can't run for president. I'm not qualified. He was truthful at that point.
Yes, he was not. And everybody made excuses for him. The black community, the so-called black leadership, Jesse Jackson. Well, Jesse Jackson talked about it when the mic was hot and he thought that he was off. He called Barack Obama all sorts of names and that he wasn't qualified. But, they hurry up and snuff that out. Can
I say this to two black men? I want to say this to two black men. He's not black.
Nope.
Okay, can I get this together? Can we calling Barack Obama a black man because he's not black? Y'all two are black, okay? Y'all two are black. His ass is a Kenyan American. His mama was a white chick. Can we stop calling this man black? He ain't got no idea what the black culture, the black generations, none of us. He did not get into the black Chicago until he was in his teens, late teens. He was raised by an Indonesian terrorist. Yep. I mean, can we talk? He is not my daddy's. It's just like a terrorist supposed to be a black.
Are you it on us white guys now?
No, but because they got melanin in their skin, don't make them kin.
Very Soweto.
Melanin in their skin, don't make them kin. And that bro is not a black man. He is truly an African American. Okay, his daddy is from Kenya and his mama was white. So let's get the term.
From Kansas.
You know what, guys? Remember when the Republicans came out and they said Barack Obama was not an American citizen. He was not born on this soil, and he wasn't. Now that's coming out. We understand that he should have never been president because he was not an American naturalized citizen. Yep. So now that we see that the country got played, I'm hoping that when they bring him in, see this is the whole thing. I think they're setting him up right now. He should be sitting around worried that Comer has been indicted because they're going to tell on him. All of them. When it comes down to it and they start looking at that time, they're going to turn on Barack Obama and they're going to say, hey, we did what he told us to do. Whether he like it or not, he should be going down because
he dropped nuggets 2 weeks ago. Trump said, hey, y'all you might want to look at Barack Obama. It all started with him. When Trump started bringing out names, that tells you they're looking at you. So when Trump went straight out there, he said, hey, you might want to start looking at Obama. He's behind all this. That tells you he's already being investigated. And since Barack Obama don't have his assets anymore, he don't have all that security anymore, he can't see what's going on. They're blind right now when it comes to the government.
And you know what, Lucretia, that is true. now that he doesn't have that power to control people, because Trump is definitely draining the swamp. You know, people are talking about him moving people out of the way, and they're saying, well, you know, he just laying people off. What Trump is doing is cleaning the government out. We got a whole bunch of people making six-figure salaries in the government that just come to work, pop popcorn, and eat and talk on the phone all day and never do the work. I spent 15 years as a contracting officer for the United States Army, and people who did do the job was always scrutinized. I was one of those people. And after 15 years, I walked into the office one day and asked my major, I said, Major, what is it that I need to do? What can a person do to quit? He said, well, get a piece of paper and write "you quit" on the paper. I snatched his pen out of his hand and I wrote "I quit," and I left the military. And then I turned around and filed a lawsuit against them, which we won handedly, and they paid for what they did. Let's finish the rest of this.
They decided not to try for an indictment in the U.S. District Court in the District of Columbia, notoriously left-wing grand juries. They all indicted, you know, they all went after Trump, and grand juries in the District of Columbia. So Eastern District of Virginia, the newly appointed U.S. attorney just took over, you know, really a few days ago after her predecessor had apparently declined to go after Comey, and there was a lot of frustration about him. But, you know, they got a new woman in, and she looked at the case, and she knew it well, and she decided, look, there's plenty to go on here, and it's time for someone to be held accountable. Congresswoman, it really seems at this point that James Comey's imperiousness may have finally caught up with him.
I think that you're right, Laura. And what I will tell you is that the DOJ needs to act aggressive. American people are tired of a two-standard system in justice. And frankly, what he did largely is responsible for why there is a big political divide in this country, because they operated on a lie. He violated the president's literally civil liberties. And I would even argue on top of that, he leaked classified information. This guy should never be held or able to hold another government job forever for the rest of his life. And I would say that the Department of Justice has everything that they need to bring forward the charges, and they should throw the entire book at him. So that's a 5-year prison sentence, and he deserves every single day of it.
All right, panel, thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Okay, folks, again, look, as my computer's still acting up, we go.
I mean, come on, y'all. It ain't like he going to county or state. He going to cushy feds.
Yeah, he is. He is.
They go to camp. It ain't like he's going to go to maximum security or Leavenworth. He'll be at the camp eating his little bonbon with a thin gate. So in a golf club.
But you know, guys, now there's a lot of other stuff going on with Barack Obama. You know, the deception that he did with this Russiagate thing. But now we're going to switch gears for a minute. See, Barack Obama has had the luxury of all this time to hide behind the lies of his life. Yep. And now that everything is coming out about him and Big Mike and the children not being his and all of these things right now.
Hold on one moment. Share this feed. Share this feed. Go ahead.
so
Big Mike.
so people are starting to ask a lot of questions. He had autonomy to keep things hid. You know, here in Chicago, Barack Obama is behind several people who have been murdered. You know, the word came out about Barack Obama when he was a member, him and Big Mike was members at Reverend Wright's church, Trinity. Reverend Wright was also a homosexual when he said he had to counsel Barack and Michelle. But the reason why that happened is because Barack Obama was caught in the basement of the church having sex with the.
Whoa, Jesus! I mean, and my mic's still on.
Yeah, he was in, and this is true. He was caught in the basement of Trinity Church having sex with a choir director named Donald Young. And after they got caught, that's when they came out and said that Reverend White was counseling them. Well, Reverend White was also having an affair with Barack Obama, too. And so when Donald Young decided that he wanted to go public with his relationship with Barack Obama, somebody broke into his house, ransacked it, and murdered him. And to this very day, Donald Young, murderer, has not been found. But now all of a sudden, there's new evidence that's showing up, because even the same type of pattern that we can see. Now, Tafari Campbell, Barack Obama's cook, who was found, who drowned it, an avid swimmer in 8 feet of water, who drowned it when Barack Obama wasn't supposed to be at home. Now, the big bombshell is Tafari Campbell's family has been staying on focus, saying that Barack was having an affair. The mother saying he was having an affair with her son. The wife now was speaking out about the affair that Barack Obama was having with the cook. And now we see the pattern of things happening and people dying. That's who's going to come out and tell the truth. So I got a clip I'm going to get. You guys, you talk about that a little bit while I get this clip queued up.
Oh, you want me to gossip about Barack Obama? Child, let me tell you something, honey. I have been hearing this, but the Jeremiah Wright one, that was a whole nother story. But the choir director and the chef and the crackhead white man, what was his name?
Sinclair.
Sinclair. My bad. Woo, child! I don't know how he getting away with all of this for so long, and how anybody respect Barack Obama just on the standards of his whole life is an act. That's all I can say.
Look at how he sits when he's at, like sitting on panels and stuff like that. He doesn't sit like like a guy. We sit, we gapped open. We want the whole world to see what we working with. He says As soon as he sits down, he crosses hard cross. I mean, it is the hardest crossing of legs I have ever seen on a man in my life. It's just like, dude, let it breathe a little bit. You can put some crease in there. Let it breathe a little bit. It's okay. But no, it's a hard lockdown, and so that tells you everything that you need to know right there.
Well, I want to play this clip, guys.
The only female on here. I got a question, fellas. Do you compliment a man on his legs if he's standing in front of you, like Jamal Bryant did on stage? I just wanted to know.
No.
Okay.
I thought that was the homosexual preacher Jamal Bryant. That who you talking about?
Yes. I was like, do men do this all? Y'all look at each other like that?
No.
I'm asking. Okay, then.
Real men don't do that, and that's and to the American people and patriots across this country, we can see how the transgender world, the homosexual world, how they just came right out with it under Joe Biden. But Barack Obama set things in motion, so that these things could happen. And he still sat back into the background and lied and played games with the American people as if he was all tried, true man. But let me play this clip, folks, and we can talk about
so this story right here, this is the reason why we're covering it. Because it was buried. No one discussed it anymore. No one. And it's time that we discuss it. All right. So who is this brother we got on the screen? This man's name is, what's his name? So a whistleblower from the Barack Obama's late chef Tafari Campbell's family. Let me put this up here so you guys can see it. A whistleblower from Barack Obama's late chef Tafari Campbell family has reportedly come forward, revealing that at the time of his mysterious drowning at the Obama's Martha's Vineyard estate, Campbell had been working on a tell-all book to expose the misdeeds of the Obamas. Let's go back. A whistleblower has confirmed that this chef has been writing a book, a tell-all book about the misdeeds of the Obamas. And then he dies. Hold on, let's continue. He is also said to have had a year-long sexual relationship with the former president. Okay, let's go back. Is this believable? Nah, this ain't believable. I mean, all Barack Obama does whenever he gets a platform is try to push the gay agenda. Is this a believable? Maybe. What about the story of the white man that said that back in the day he used to meet up with Obama and they used to do things in the car, take advantage of like certain drugs. Not going to name the drugs because all of that's let's just stick to the story. Okay, so this chef says that he was in a years-long sexual relationship with the president. Okay, let's continue. This comes at a time shortly after Larry Sinclair, the guy we were just now talking about, a homosexual man, alleges that he smoked crack and had an affair with Obama in 1999. You guys remember Larry Sinclair? When this story very first came forward, a lot of content creators were putting it out like, yo, have y'all heard about this? Have y'all heard about this? And everybody was like, come on, don't nobody believe this guy. Don't nobody believe this guy. Let's continue. Now, so far, the chef, a whistleblower comes by, a whistleblower comes forward saying that Chef Tafari family has reportedly come forward revealing that their nephew, their brother, their uncle, this young man was writing a tell-all book for years about the Obama's misdeeds. And then he also admitted that he was in a sexual affair with President Obama. And then Larry Sinclair comes by and says that he was in an affair with Obama and they used to smoke drugs and all this other stuff. Okay, this is not so that the conversation can get all sensational or nothing like that. I'm just putting it all together, guys. All right, so it also fits a similar pattern to a little known case of a man named Donald Young, a member of Obama's church, who allegedly had a years-long intimate relationship with him. So Donald Young is new to me. I have not heard of Donald Young before until just now. Please let me know in the chats if you've ever heard of Donald Young before. Just a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that would be cool. But I would like to know if you've heard of Donald Young. Also, guys, hit the like button if you haven't already. That would be great. All right, here we go. In the heat of his 2008 campaign, the night before Young was set to come forward to the American public to expose Obama, he was mysteriously shot and murdered in cold blood in what was later deemed to be a home invasion in Chicago. So timely, such timely news right there, right? So you got Donald Young, who is about to come forward and talk about his year-long intimate relationship with President Obama during his 2008 campaign. The night before he was supposed to come forward with this information, he was mysteriously shot dead in a home invasion. Guys, this is nuts. This is absolutely insane. Let's continue. No suspect was ever charged with his murder. Come on, guys. Come on, y'all. So you mean to tell me that they didn't even investigate this? They didn't even investigate it further. They was like, man, forget that. He got what he deserved. He was probably unalived by, you know what? Never. I'm gonna leave that alone. Let's continue because his investigation led to nothing. That man died for nothing. And the only thing he had was a story of him and the president being intimate. Here's another thing. This is a major revelation, and it appears that the truth about Barack Obama is finally coming to the mainstream of the American public. This begs the question, what really happened to Tafari Campbell, Obama's chef, and Donald Young? Here he is right here. What happened to him? Did Michelle know? Is this why his daughters no longer want to talk to him? What does his daughters know? Is this also why his daughters changed their last name? Just something to consider. Because the family knows. The family always knows the dirt. Before any information is put out there about anybody, the family.
You can't be that paddle on and all of us busted out laughing.
Go ahead. Y'all go ahead on. Go ahead.
I got something on that. I wanna defer to my friend Joel Gilbert's documentary, Michelle Obama 2024. Okay, it's a documentary and it's a book. I want to refer everybody to that. You watch that, and then we can come back later on and have a panel on that alone. So here's the backstory, real quick, on that. The daughters are allegedly not actually the daughters of Michelle and Barack Obama.
That is true.
They're surrogate daughters. They was birthed by somebody else, another couple out of Chicago and what have you. So there is that. And so as they got older, that information came out. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, y'all not even our parents? Like, what? We finna be out because y'all some sick bastards anyway. So that's where all of that is stemming from. And the American people, they need to open their eyes and say, you know what, maybe there is some stuff, to this.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans, we like to be on the conspiracy theories, we QAnon and all of that, but a lot of stuff you connect the dots and it'll be true. So I just wanted to plug that in there while we was on that particular segment there that he mentioned that, because there is a reason behind that, and that would be the reason.
Who Gaydar didn't work? That dude been zesty. I mean, seriously, he's been zesty. Who fell for that? Okay, I didn't know about Big Mike until Joan Rivers. Okay, and then I started looking between the legs on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and I was like, "Hey, big back." So yeah, we just telling the truth. Ain't no more conspiracies. We batting 90. We are back.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? What you talking about down there?
Well, they tell you. When you tell a lie long enough, it soon becomes the truth. And you listen to government, you listen to lamestream. Who's going to hear the truth? Who's going to know the truth?
Yeah,
they got people's minds so twisted up. I don't know. I'm to the point where if I don't see it, I don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
I
say
have a question. I have a question for everybody. Has anybody ever seen any pictures or any historical evidence in the physical form of Michelle being pregnant with Sasha or Malia?
Absolutely not. Those two girls are the two, the doctor and the psychiatrist, the two black, the couple that has been around Barack Obama from day one. They look like him as they was growing up. So listen, nobody care if he's a fudge packer or he's a pitcher or a catcher or, dealing with some TD. We don't care about him and P. Diddy and their parties. Be straight up with your sexuality. What you don't do is come in here and change our laws to fit your lifestyle. What you don't do is treat the American citizen as we, as a Christian nation. I don't care. I got many gay folks in my family, but you ain't going to demand me to play pretend. So it was a lot of stuff that he did that he should be made account of. And if, Jeremiah, right? If he went to that type of church, the fruit that comes out of the sanctuary should tell you exactly who he is inside. And like I said, my gaydar has been ding-a-linging on him for a very long time.
Well, back in the day when I first met Barack Obama, I was a president of the NAACP, and I was called to come to Chicago to speak at an event with the Hip Hop Coalition. And so when I got there, some of my people, that was there, they were saying, well, man, have you heard about this guy, Barack Obama? And I'm a Chicagoan, and I was like, no, I ain't never heard about him. And then they went on to tell me more about him and so forth. And I met Barack that night. As a matter of fact, I autographed a book that my staff had put together of newspaper clippings, and I gave it to him, right? So he was like, oh, man, if you ever want to do some work in Chicago, like he really knew Chicago, give me a call. So I took him up on that. And when I came to work with him in Chicago at 35th and King Drive at the office, there was no black people in there except me. And when I got there, they told me that they didn't have a position. So I went out the door. I called Barack, said, hey, man, what's going on? And then he said, well, leave your resume and I'll get back with you. This would have been years. He had a whole presidency, 2 terms, and I never heard from him again. I heard from him again during the when he tried to run for the second term. He and I got into a situation to where he had a guy to call me. And people, if you think I'm lying, go to NAACP president threatened by Obama staffer. NAACP president threatened by an Obama staffer. He had a guy to call me and demand that I'd use my NAACP branch to get people to vote for him, and I refused to do that. So this guy, Louis Raymond, called me and started talking about how they were watching me, and on my talk show, I was talking about him, and he made a couple of threats. And so what I did was I told him, I'm going to find you, but first I went to the police department and filed a lawsuit. I filed a petition in Oak Forest, Illinois, where I was living, because whenever I caught this guy, it could go bad at any time. And at that time, I was a real rebel rouser, and I didn't care, because if you threaten me and I got to find you, I got kids, I'm not going to be ducking you. So we had something in our mind that would have took care of that, but we went to the police and let the law get involved. And after that, this is what I did. A friend of mine, attorney Jim Bell, out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Y'all can look him up. He's deceased now. But a Dr. Tyrone Powers, who was with the FBI, I called Doc and asked Doc to give me the skinny on Barack Obama. And that's when he told me Barack Obama was using drugs at Harvard, that he was a homosexual, that he was dressing up like women. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And so I tried to tell people about that, but black people were such in a mindset that we got a black president, and didn't even know that this guy was not even black, nor did he have black people.
And didn't do that for the black community, but other called them Pookie and Ray Ray and dropped his dialect just to get along. The Messiah syndrome that I witnessed myself. Now I walked away. So I had to pick and choose, and I lost majority of my family members trying to explain to these people who he truly was. So I don't even care about those people anymore. We're not supposed to be talking to them, and thank God you didn't commingle your spirit with that evilness.
Well, you know what? It was just like this. My father knew that me and Barack had some kind of friendship, right? And so when I went to him, this is my best friend. I told him, I said, man, this guy's gay. And my father got upset with me. He said, man, you believe what people say, blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling you, that was friction between me and my father, because I kept saying the truth. And he kept thinking Barack was this fine, upstanding black man. But before my father passed away, after he saw all the stuff that came out in 20 with Barack Obama, on his deathbed, he apologized to me and said, son, you were right. Barack Obama never did shit for black people but use us, and the proof is in the pudding. Now, the rumor is, and you just said about Joan Rivers, that Michelle Robinson, that's her name, that's his name, that's Big Mike. Mike Robinson and Michelle was not a woman. And so it was getting around in places, and a lot of people was talking about, oh, they just hate Michelle as the first lady and blah, blah, blah. And now here it is. After Joan Rivers stated that Michelle was a transgender, 2 weeks later, she was found murdered. And I want to play this clip, guys, and y'all get a piece of this, and then we're going to move on to the next phase.
Michelle Obama is a man. Obama's a man.
Of course. You don't know that?
I didn't know that, no.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joan Rivers mentioned it publicly, and she was dead 2 weeks later, by the way.
Michelle and Barack thought they did their big one when they silenced Joan Rivers for making those transgender allegations, but baby, new receipts have started coming to the surface, and it looks like those reports claiming that Joan died from medical complications was just a whole load of BS. It turns out the CIA was instructed to take her life after she called Michelle trans, and then they covered it up. Jaguar was called crazy when she talked about this, but judging from everything coming out now, it looks like she was onto something the entire time. To make matters even worse, some of the staff who were allegedly paid off after they saw Michelle's biological male body parts are also singing now. And they claim that they held back from speaking out earlier because they didn't want to end up like Joan. One of the first people that put their life on the line was Rafael Espinanzo, the doctor who was entrusted with Michelle's care during the 2008 presidential election. Back in 2018, he had a whole lot to say, and he didn't hold back. I know what I saw. Michelle Obama is not a woman who used to be a man. Michelle Obama is just a man with breast implants and a huge shaving bill. On the campaign trail, no medical staff were allowed to go near her other than to take vitals if she got sick, which she never did. I know what I know because I walked in on her, or him, while he was taking a leak standing up in a bathroom in Trenton. They paid me millions for my silence, but after seeing what they did to this country, I just can't keep quiet. Let them sue me. Michelle and Barack's spokesman actually responded to the allegations Dr. Raphael made at the time, threatening to get his license revoked for violating the doctor-patient confidentiality agreement between him and Michelle. Whatever information the doctor has is privileged. Should he decide to trade his license and every dime he's ever made for a few minutes of fame, so be it. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but this spokesperson was quick to mention how Dr. Raphael violated Michelle's privacy, but not once did they actually deny the allegations. Isn't that interesting? But this isn't the only receipt floating around that seems to hint at Michelle being trans. The Illinois State Board also put their messy boots on when they leaked never-before-seen documents of Michelle registering to vote as a man back in 1994. And get this, she apparently officially switched her gender from male to female in 2008. Coincidentally, the same year Barack decided to run for president. Barack made things 10 times worse for her when he posted this old photo of them together in celebration of her birthday. In the photo, she looks female, but folks did some digging and they pulled out another version of the exact same photo, which they claim is the real picture. In this picture, Michelle looks more masculine. Simon Godek actually reposted the photo and said, "What happened to Michael LaVaughn Robinson, aka Big Mike?" And let's not forget the countless occasions in which Barack allegedly slipped up and called Michelle Michael on national television.
Distinguished guests, and men and women of the finest military in the world. Most of all, Admiral Mullen, Deborah. Michael and I also want to acknowledge your son Jack, who's deployed today.
There's also this video of him almost calling Michelle Mike, but then quickly catching himself to call her Michelle.
The noise levels up.
Want to make sure he knows we're coming, or she.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if she's got some cubs, that's when you really got to work.
Yeah. You know what my kids asked me? They said, "You've got to ask the president, does anything scare him?"
You know, well, when Michelle's mad, I get worried. There's a certain look that she can give me that
Word on the street is that Barack's family have also had their doubts about Michelle's real gender. And this was confirmed when Barack's half-brother, Malik Obama, who got on Twitter and said, "Is Michelle Michael?" He added in a follow-up tweet he made in 2022, and no, I cannot confirm or deny the legend of Big Mike Michael LaVaughn Robinson. Folks, please don't ask me that question again. And as recent as last year, he made a tweet regarding this again that read, "I, Malik Obama, will campaign against Michelle Obama when she runs for president, he/she." People also brought up how Barack is always quick to post wedding photos of him and Michelle, but never posts a photo of her pregnant. There are also no baby photos of their daughters. The youngest photos of them you'll find are them being around 6 to 7 years old.
Michelle Obama is a man.
Of course. You don't know that?
I didn't know that, no.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joan Rivers mentioned it publicly, and she was dead 2 weeks later, by the way.
You think?
Oh, yes.
They axed her, eh?
They axed her, yeah. So that's common knowledge. You can look it up on any internet thing. Sure. And, yeah, Michelle Obama's a man.
Okay, guys.
Hey, for the monkeys. Keep on monkeying around.
And listen, this is not gossiping. This is stating facts. And this is we started having the homosexuality spirit running rampant in America. This is when all of a sudden the he, she's and all the rest of this is when you know Barack Obama forever calling that man, that Michelle, Mike. Now, Dave, give me a boy name, I'm going to punch him in the throat. I'm just being honest. So the nickname, no one can say, because when you're doing something that big in front of military brass and you start out with Michael and I and don't check yourself, you already know he's telling you the truth.
Exactly. And he said it so smoothly and nonchalantly, like Michael and I, you know, we and then it was like I would have been like, wait, did I say Michael? I'm sorry, Michelle. My notes, somebody, there's a typo in my notes. I'm sorry, everyone. Hey, whoever wrote this, you're fired. You know, I would have made that so believable. It would have been like insane. But yes, it's crazy. And like I pointed out earlier, no one's ever seen her pregnant. No one even talked about her pregnancy. There's no documentation of a pregnancy. That's the crazy part. And people don't even, it's like mind blowing. It's like these kids are not that old to where I can see if they was like hovering around our age. Then if you say, you know, okay, maybe it got lost in a hospital in a fire or something. No, these kids are saying like younger than my children. My children are grown, you know. So it's like, come on, guys, we wake up, pay attention. Come on,
Mickey,
now.
You quiet down there. What you got to say?
Mickey, like, man, don't put me in this.
Well, I did. Somebody did one time post a picture of Michelle at about 12, 14 years old in a tutu and said, "Do you see any manhood there?" or something. That's about all I can say.
Well, you know, let me say this. If you are a man, especially the president of the United States, why would you force homosexuality on the American people? Because that's what Barack Obama did when he signed the same-sex law marriage thing. That was a clue right there. And he didn't do it with the American people. He did it on his own because they used COVID as a cover to make this happen. And so when you start looking at him and you start looking at Big Mike, and then you start saying, it's something not right here. And so, but they deceived the American people for 8 years and continue to do so even to this very day. They're still lying and hiding. And yet we can see when Barack came out and we did that show, and Randy, when he had his legs crossed up like he ain't got nothing between his legs, it was a hard cross. He sit there and just folded up like a woman in the chair. And I knew then that something was on. I'm going to play the rest of this because there's a lot more stuff that we need to discuss before we get off this.
Long
I can't even cross my legs like that.
It's legs.
It hurts.
Now, the reason why everyone is always so quick to bring up Joan is because she's the first person to boldly make this accusation. And as you just heard, she was taken out just days after saying it.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
At the time of her death, it was reported that her cause of death was anoxic encephalopathy due to hypoxic arrest during laryngoscopy and upper gastrointestinal endoscopy. Basically, in August 2014, she went in for a routine throat endoscopy procedure. However, the procedure, her oxygen supply was cut off, which caused her heart to stop. She went into cardiac arrest, suffered severe brain damage from lack of oxygen, and never regained consciousness. She was kept on life support and eventually died on September 4th, 2014. So just 2 weeks after she made this allegation, she goes on for her usual procedure, which she used to do all the time without any complications. But this time around, never ends up coming back. People definitely didn't buy this story. And up until this day, they still blame Michelle and Obama for allegedly having something to do with it. And remember what you said earlier about there not being a single photo of Michelle pregnant? Well, her team claim that she had her girls via surrogate. However, word on the street is that the girl's biological mother is Dr. Anita Blanchard. Someone with alleged inside sources put this tweet out that said, Michael tries to tell the public that Malia and Sasha were conceived through IVF. The daughter's real mother, Dr. Anita Blanchard, was supposedly the same doctor that delivered the Obama daughters. See the connections below between the Nesbitts and Obamas.
A photograph is being shared on social media platforms with the claim that it shows Barack and Michelle Obama's daughters Sasha and Malia with their real parents. Reverse image search of the picture led to the original photograph on ObamaLibrary.gov. This image shows Sasha and Malia Obama with Barack and Michelle Obama in the White House in 2015. Further search revealed that the couple seen in the viral image is the Obama's family friends, gynecologist Anita Blanchard and Martin Nesbitt, who serves as the chairperson of the Obama Foundation. They claim that Blanchard and Nesbitt are Sasha and Malia Obama's biological parents.
Steve Peters fueled these allegations when he tweeted, Barack doesn't have children, and he definitely didn't have them with Michelle. Martin Nesbitt and Anita Blanchard are Sasha and Malia Obama's real parents. Nesbitt is also the chairman of the Obama Foundation. Another reason folks believe this entire story is because Joan isn't the first person that the Obama have been accused of deleting. Y'all remember Chef Tafari Campbell? The same who was working at the White House for years but mysteriously drowned once he started working for the Obamas? Word on the street is he was working on a tell-all book that was going to reveal everything he found out about Michelle and Barack while he was working for them. However, just weeks before the launch of the book, he drowned in a supposed boarding pass accident near the house of the Obamas in Martha's Vineyard. There were also rumors of his wife exposing Michelle in some alleged since-deleted posts. It's also been speculated that since Michelle is supposedly a man, Barack sometimes steps out on her to mess with biological women. Apparently, one of his many mistresses is his former campaign aide, Vera Baker. The story got so big that The Globe launched an entire investigation into it and published an article detailing everything. The article read, Vera recently returned to Washington, D.C. after reportedly being exiled to Martinique by Obama's wife before the presidential campaign. When Vera worked for Obama on his Senate campaign, he fell hard for her. Vera knew he was married, but Barack was the one who made a fool of himself. He also allegedly spoke to Barack's former driver, and he claims that Barack and Vera spent the night together at the Hotel George, and that there is a videotape to prove it. At the time, Vera denied the allegations, claiming that it was Barack's opponents at the time who pushed the Globe to publish the story. However, with everything going on, folks are beginning to wonder if Vera was forced by the Obamas to deny everything so people wouldn't catch up to them. As of now, nothing has been confirmed yet, but one thing is for sure. Michelle isn't beating those allegations Joan Rivers made. One person said Joan Rivers didn't crack a smile. Notice how she was serious? She was ready to go. She was done with Hollywood. Another person said, I have never made the mistake of calling my wife of 13 years by another name, especially a man's name. That's not just a coincidence. That's the truth. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of Michelle getting accused of being a man? And do y'all believe that Joan Rivers was really unalive for exposing the Obamas? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to click here.
Okay, guys.
Joan Rivers was known as crass and straight to the point. She was never known as a liar.
Mhm.
Exactly. Randy, your thoughts?
Here. Hey. Yeah, hey, look, hey, I'm doing a Joker. I'm doing a Joker from Batman. I've been here the whole time. I got nothing. Hey, folks, better wake up. Smell the roses.
Go ahead on, Mr. Binky, your time.
Well, I think especially now, I mean, I'm pretty old, but I think the last 30 or 40 years, we're living in a big show. It's just a show. You don't know what the truth is. It's kind of hard it's hard to believe what you see, and it's the same with what you hear. I don't know. The reality of this world's not like it was 30 or 40 years ago.
Well, now that all of this information is out there, it explained a lot of things for me. It explained the fact that why would you create a law of same sex? Why would you put all these people, homosexuals, throughout the government? And the real story came out when Joe Biden came out and acknowledged the transgenders as another creation.
Yep.
And they implemented it. Not only did they say there was another creation with transgenders, they put it in the schools. They created DEI so that they can hire homosexuals across the country to go into our school system and start teaching our kids. They can't even read or write, but they know what a pedophile is. They know what a homosexual is. They know all of these things that they shouldn't be knowing at 5 years old. And I just think now the American people and patriots across this country can see why all of these things were put in place, why different states like here in Illinois took parental rights from parents who did not go along with the school system. People like Mr. Binky who went complained about the system. Tell them about what happened with you at the school, Binky.
Oh, got shut down basically. It was during the COVID deal, and the schools were villainizing the founding fathers. So I went there and gave them facts, and these facts came from books from Black patriots. And the looks I got was, how dare you question us? We're up here educating kids. That's our job. And then when I go there to give them something, education that was real, we got shut down. They didn't want to hear reality. you know, and it's like I said, is you don't know what's real anymore. You know, it's just even states now they tell you can, if you want to put on your driver's license that you're really a man, but you want to be a female or no gender, you know, they're allowing you to put on your driver's license. You know, where's reality going to have to start and stop here? It's just schools, in my opinion, are indoctrination centers now. The real truth about history, they don't want kids to know. I mean, it's been said that when you control the kid's mind, you control their future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
And you're so correct, because a friend of mine named Terry Newsom, folks, if you want to look up Terry Newsom had a couple of twins here in Illinois, and they was teaching the homosexual stuff. They had porno. I mean, Terry went to the school. They showed the books, all the teaching. It was pornographic. I mean, you're talking about boys giving oral sex to those who had dildos on. I mean, the list goes on. Terry presented it. As a matter of fact, he went before Congress. And once Terry went to the school and said he didn't want his children learning that, he was put on a terrorist list, was not able to come back to the school anymore. And it's been all over the country. The guy's name is Terry Newsom, if you want to look it up. And that's what I'm telling people. We have to stop taking information from these liberal stations like ABC, NBC. They've been the one who've been covering it up. They're the ones who stood in the way of the truth. And now that the truth is out, people should be glad that we know exactly what we're dealing with and why our country got to this place where our kids are graduating from high school and they can't read or write.
And you know something, Dave, here in Illinois, parents went to school board meetings about those books. And I bought several of them just so I knew I had the truth, if this was in the books or not. And the women went to school boards and complained about this. And the Democrats in Illinois passed a law saying that if those books are removed from libraries and schools,
yes,
they would lose partial funding. So there's the Democratic Party right there protecting this garbage, you know, and that's what we've got to start standing up and learning and doing and speaking out. And if it wasn't for the women, and I've said it 100 times, and here's 101, if it wasn't for the women during COVID, our school system would be a complete joke.
Yep, that's true. And so, folks, we got to get out of here. I want your last words. Lucretia, you want to have some thoughts on that before we close up out of here?
I'm a praying grandma, and I'm a laying hands on grandma. I wish you would try that. Raise them in the way they should go. And they might be tempted, and they might be a wayward child, and it might be a prodigal son and daughter. But if we raise them right, they're going to come back, because the Holy Spirit is going to keep pricking them until they make that mind up. But that's our job. It's not us to relinquish our ability to raise our children. I ain't never going to agree to that. So I will be a great grandma and still laying down the law: God, family, and country.
Randy, your last thoughts before we get out of here.
I would just say, you know, when it comes to these books in the libraries and in the schools and whatnot, it's a very simple solution. You go in there, you take those books. Libraries are pretty big. You could go in there, you could play hide and go seek with those books, and those books won't be found for years. You ain't got to remove it out of there. You can turn the books around. You can put them in a whole nother section that nobody reads. You know, like, you know, the classics. Nobody reads the classics anymore. You stuck them all in there. They'll be there forever. So that, you know, we just gotta be smart about how we do these things and how we tackle these issues, and keep bringing it up to the forefront. So I appreciate you, Pastor Larry, for having us on today and for bringing up these very important issues. God bless everyone.
When I think, thank you, Randy. I just think that the American people needs to know the truth. You know, this country was founded on God and righteousness, and we have to get back, because a lot of our children are not learning anything. They don't know anything about math. You know, it's also sad that here in Illinois created a law that says the school could be a surrogate parent for your children, and yet And I mean, the law is the law. Y'all look it up. It's a law that says that these homosexual counselors can have your children to lie to you so that they can make sex change operations on them. Look it up. It is a law in Illinois. And at the school, these so-called counselors was telling the children, don't tell your mom because we can help you change from a boy to a girl and a girl to a boy. They use Planned Parenthood as one of the places to indoctrinate these children's mind. I've done a couple of shows with transgenders, and they said that was the worst thing in the world they did because they would not be able to see their children. They're on all this medication. And so to the American people and patriots across this country, let us get together and let us be parents again. And let us fix this school system because the school should not have any power to make any decisions on regarding your children. That's for the parents to do. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And I'll see you all later. Folks, thank you for tuning in to the show. We put information out there that people will be able to take a look at and ask questions. It's high time that the American people stop taking the words of people and do research. And that's what we do with this talk show. We research and find out the truth so we can deliver it to the American people. So, folks, do some homework. I hope we sparked a research bug in your head that you would take a look for yourself and find the facts so that we can live in this country under truth, justice for the American people. God bless you. Have a great week. I'll see you.